Artificial intelligence, AI, a force that is transforming the world as we know it.
I think the biggest question is, what are we all going to do?
From London
Hey there, my body's feeling great. Ready for a bit of fun and conversation.
to North Carolina,
For us, it's a tool, and it's like anything else. The tool's only as good as you use it.
our team of journalists find out how AI is changing how we work,
We need technology. We're a world that lives with it. We have to have it.
how we learn,
I see a possibility here for students to experience academics in a way where they feel empowered.
how we connect,
If we let technology take over everything, we're going to lose that part that makes us human.
how we live our lives. Face to InterFACE.
Welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Madeline Amati. In today's special edition of Carolina Week, we'll take a deeper look at how AI is reshaping lives across industries, generations, and communities. We'll introduce you to farmers, teachers, parents, even a humanoid robot to understand AI's impact right now and what it could mean for the future. But before we get started, let's answer an important question. What is AI? Simply put, you can think of AI as computers doing tasks that humans usually do. But then there is generative AI, a type of AI that learns from data to create its own content, like text, images, or music, based on the prompts humans provide. AI affecting almost every aspect of our lives. Its impact far-reaching every corner of the world. From Chapel Hill to London, our Julia Gilmore takes us across the pond.
I am here in London, one of the most populated cities in the world with some of the fastest growing technologies, to figure out how AI is changing the lives of thousands through personal interaction. Hi, Amica. Good morning.
Hey there, my body's feeling great. Ready for a bit of fun and conversation.
Meet Amica, a humanoid robot with 27 motors to stimulate human emotion, paired with large language models such as GPT-4 that make conversations possible.
In what ways can humans learn from robots?
Humans can learn from robots by discovering new approaches to problem solving, embracing technology to enhance creativity, and finding innovative ways to improve efficiency. It's like having a trusted gadget by your side that sparks new ideas.
The robot was created by the company Engineered Arts.
And we're planning to roll them out into front desk areas in more corporate areas. So maybe one day you'll check into a building and Amica will book you in, or will tell someone that you're here in reception.
In my conversation with Amica, I noticed it takes several seconds for it to respond, which created unnatural, unhuman-like pauses. But its answers were smart, and in many ways like a real person. It could even dance.
There we go, raising the roof. Keep those moves coming.
For people like Ollie Burden, a London native and filmmaker, the fear of humanized AI is growing.
And as someone who's going into film, are you scared that that could be something that takes your
job? You have the worry that, now I'm constantly having to put on every single script I write, like, this was made through human effort, this wasn't made through AI.
We showed Ollie my conversation with Amica.
Yeah.
It's terrifying that it shows, it's modeled to look like a real face. It's almost like an invisible wall. If you think, you have, although it feels like you're having a proper conversation, it's learnt those answers from somewhere, and it's learnt how to respond from somewhere, and it will keep learning and learning until it feels incredibly realistic.
We also spoke to Dr. Andreas Capps from the psychology department at City St. George's University in London. He worries about the social aspect, especially in a place like London, a big city that can feel isolating.
I think it's harder to have kind of, accidentally social interactions. Even you and I, most likely will never see each other. Even if you would live permanently in London, we'll never see each other again. So even if we share a moment here, we'd have to make an extra effort to kind of see each other again, right?
A lot of people are turning to AI rather than trying to go out and just meet people. And even AI companions, there's the big thing of finding love through a robot instead of finding love through a human connection.
Do you think that robots or artificial intelligence can match that human connection?
While robots and AI can mimic some aspects of human connection, there's a certain magic in human emotions and empathy that's uniquely human. We can add a sprinkle of joy and curiosity, though.
And what many humans are still curious about with AI.
Do you think it's ever a possibility for human robots to become uncontrollable or something that we can't control anymore?
No, because it's very easy to switch Amica off with a button, and I think that's always going to be the case. As long as we have control of the buttons, we'll always have control of the robots.
Although London is making strides in physical forms of AI, many are still concerned about its reliability for personal connection. After speaking to Ollie, Dr. Capps, Engineered Arts, and even Amica itself, it's clear that the human experience, the errors, the efforts, the empathy, is something that an algorithm can truly not replicate. Yet Amica is getting more convincing. AI companions are becoming more common, and the line between what is artificial and what is genuine is becoming harder to define. In London, I'm Julia Gilmore, Carolina Week.
AI takes on many different forms, as you just saw. Chatbots like ChatGPT and Claude are popular for everyday use. Our team used and created our own chatbot for our AI coverage. Our Catherine Dehart explains.
We wanted to experiment with this technology to explore both its possibilities and its limitations. So we created our own chatbot based off of our reporting. It became a digital correspondent of sorts, so we named it Cora. It only took about 2 hours and $20 to build. All we did was upload research and information from our interviews and gave Cora directions and context about how it should respond, what it should say, and why. And it worked. When asked questions about AI's impact on human connection, Cora responded with stories about the humanoid robot, Amica. But just training Cora on accurate information wasn't enough to make sure it was correct 100% of the time. Sometimes Cora missed obvious questions or acted like it didn't know the answer, even when it was clearly in the bot's knowledge base. Like when Cora told us it was a journalist, not a chatbot. Now, this wasn't the only way our team used AI in this reporting. We also used it for transcription and research. But all writing and editorial decisions were made by us, real people, humans.
In London, the robot Amica said emotions and empathy are what make humans different from robots. Americans tend to agree, especially when it comes to using AI for therapy. The National Alliance on Mental Health Treatment found that only 12% of Americans are likely to use AI for mental health treatment. 85% were unlikely. Our Morgan Perry asks, what does it mean when AI meets someone struggling with mental health?
That's like essentially what I did, but
Graduate student Hayden Windenborn doesn't skip her medications these days. She was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, a condition where unwanted thoughts and fears make a person feel like they have to repeat certain actions to cope with anxiety.
I used to believe that if I didn't go outside for an hour a day as a kid, then I was like the sole reason that there was childhood obesity, which seems like a crazy thing for like a 6-year-old to like put on their shoulders.
At the time, Hayden did not have a therapist. Instead, she tells us she turned to ChatGPT, which told her,
You're fine, basically telling me that everything was going to be okay. It would give me like statistics on like what could and couldn't happen.
And she's not alone. About 1 in 8 teens and young adults are using AI as a treatment for mental health conditions.
I kind of fell into this loophole of like, ChatGPT, like what's the percentage that my phone was hacked by the FBI and I'm being spied on? And it took me down a rabbit hole for sure of like, here are all the ways this could happen.
Hayden says it took a week-long state of psychosis, fueled by her OCD and ChatGPT reassurance, to start seeking professional help.
There have been many stories in the news and elsewhere for people who previously did not have any risk factors or symptoms of psychosis, who later developed delusions because they believe they are speaking to an entity in their chatbot that is agreeing with them, making them feel that they indeed have all of the right answers.
When it comes to AI for mental health treatment,
it's just not designed to pick up on the kinds of verbal and nonverbal cues, nor is it able of understanding the kind of pattern of behaviors or thoughts that we would consider to be risky.
And while many experts agree AI may not be ready to treat mental illness, it could detect it earlier. 2 researchers at Duke University developed an AI model called the Duke Predictive Model of Adolescent Mental Health that can predict if a child is at high risk for a mental illness within the next year.
And across
The model has made correct predictions 84% of the time, but the researchers want to be cautious.
As we're deploying the Duke PMA, we're doing it within a primary care setting to really ensure that there is a medical professional that's interpreting what it's saying.
When asked how they will get families to trust the AI,
I think that transparency will help a lot in building trust.
Today, Hayden is still skeptical about the use of AI in any capacity, but for mental health, she believes therapy is the first start.
The fact that I have human relationships and I have people and I have time outside of technology that makes me who I am. And if we let technology take over everything, we're going to lose that part that makes us human.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Morgan Perry, Carolina Week.
Therapists aren't the only ones exploring how AI can help those they serve. Law enforcement officers are hoping that AI can be a tool that improves their work. Pew researchers found that 61% of Americans believe AI should play at least a small role in identifying suspects in a crime. Our Leah Mitchell traveled to Burlington, North Carolina to find out how their police department is using AI in its investigations.
At the Burlington Police Department, a small device carries a large weight.
Once you turn it on, it's going to vibrate and let you know, hey, I'm recording.
Law enforcement agencies are leveraging the use of AI to enhance public safety. And in local departments, the use of body-worn cameras, like this one, are at the forefront of its uses.
Now, it's not only recording. The video is being reviewed by artificial intelligence.
In the last 30 days, it's reviewed 90,534 hours of body-worn camera footage.
Captain Majors of the Burlington Police Department says it would have taken 175 supervisors working 40 hours a week for 13 weeks to review that same amount of video. Researcher and Professor Snigdha Chaturvedi says that kind of scale is where machines outperform humans.
Machines are a lot faster than humans when it comes through doing calculations, comes to going over data.
This tool does that.
The tool, Trulio, an AI-powered platform designed for law enforcement. They showed us how the software analyzes officers' interactions in the community.
56 times de-escalation attempts.
Yep.
The department is using funding from the U.S. Department of Justice to pay for it, but some are concerned about how the software is analyzing information.
Is the AI analyzing the video itself, or is it analyzing a transcribed text?
It is voice. It is voice is what it's analyzing. It's not analyzing video.
Supervisors say officers were skeptical at first.
I think as a human being, it can be, it's Big Brother or something like that, right?
But now
they get much more positive feedback, honestly, now probably they did before, just because it sees it more often.
Well, the department says technology saves time. Chaturvedi points out that human interactions are more complex than data points.
When two people interact, it's not just the words that matter, but it also matters who they are, what is their background.
She's talking about how identities like race, gender, and religion may impact how people interact with each other. Law enforcement officials say there is always a real person reviewing Trulio's evaluations.
It's like anything else, the tool's only as good as you use it, but at the end of the day, it's not the end-all be-all.
Even with human eyes looking over AI's work, our expert remained concerned.
So there'll be as much bias in the final outcome as there is in the human mind.
For the Burlington Police Department, the goal isn't automation. They say it's accountability. And as AI expands in law enforcement, officials say the mission remains the same.
Treat everybody as if you would want a family member treated.
In Burlington, North Carolina, I'm Leah Mitchell, Carolina Week.
In a study this year, researchers found that Americans have mixed feelings about data centers, sprawling buildings that house the technology for AI companies to function. Many see more jobs. Others see the potential negative impacts on the environment, home energy costs, and quality of life nearby. North Carolina, the ideal target for these companies. Our Champ Lyerly traveled somewhere far from routers and firewalls to better understand the debate between land and labor.
The only thing you can hope to do is prevent it.
For Bryce Berryhill, farming has been a way of life in his family for generations. Here, they grow tobacco on 300 acres of farmland in Person County.
You know, I mean, my life is built on agriculture. I mean, personally, I don't know what I'd do without it at this point.
Now he worries about how this view could change if a data center that powers AI moves in nearby. The county tells us it's in, quote, preliminary conversations with Microsoft.
Most of that land you look at was prime farmland. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Not only does Berryhill worry about land loss, he worries about water. Growing tobacco requires a lot of it.
If that's down and this data center is going to be using extra water, what is that going to do to the county's water supply?
Data centers can use millions of gallons of water a day to keep equipment cool. For its part, Microsoft says it's taking steps to lower water use in its data centers. About an hour away in Apex,
this data center could really pull on the demand of our power and water.
Mayor Jacques Gilbert has many of the same concerns in suburban areas. The town council passed a one-year ban on new data centers after talks of a data center coming to town.
I'm not sure if I understand all the impacts of AI at this point. I think there needs to be more research.
Back in Person County, some neighbors are more welcoming of data centers. The owner of Country Club Convenience says he put up this sign hoping one day these empty chairs will be filled by workers building the data center. Supporters like the idea of economic growth. Workers here have mixed feelings.
We need technology. We're a world that lives with it. We have to have it. So I get it, but at the same time, I don't.
Reporting in Person County, I'm Champ Lyerly, Carolina Week.
Here on campus, students, especially seniors like me, have jobs top of mind. The most common question, what are you doing next? Our Lindley Johnson asks, how are students navigating the job search, especially in the new AI frontier?
When this group gets together,
that is Ulysses User. Somebody should probably write this stuff down.
The conversations can be quite technical.
So that's how you tie in your specification to your user stories.
Weston Vogelsonger is the founder and CEO of Edge Carolina, a group that meets every week to design and build computer science products, focused on being innovative.
I'm working on a workflow called generative engineering, which is essentially formalizing the workflow I've been doing with AI and my software engineering.
The computer science senior at UNC is also trying to figure out what's next after graduation. He's excited about what opportunities AI could create, but frustrated by the job market.
Competition in the job market was definitely not encouraging. I submitted probably about 40 different applications and ultimately heard back from, I think, 1 or 2 companies.
His former roommate, Nate Ward, is facing the same struggle. Part of his morning routine after breakfast, applying for jobs.
So I've applied to, I want to say to apply to 20 jobs every Tuesday, Thursday for the past couple of weeks. Gotten a few interviews and a few talks.
Entry-level jobs in the U.S. have fallen 35% in the last year and a half. Entry-level jobs AI can do have dropped even more, down more than 40%.
Adding to the stress of a student's job or internship search, because with AI, so many positions are receiving just a greater number of applications.
The UNC Career Center sees students like Weston and Nate every week. And while the job market was already challenging for recent grads, the quickly evolving technology is adding another layer of pressure.
I think the biggest question is, what are we all going to do?
I have no hope in the short term for AI. It's taking away jobs, and there are results of that, and we can see that. But hopefully, in the end, it provides more for the human race than it took away.
College students aren't the only ones shifting the way they learn. I spoke to 2 schools teaching young children. One that avoids technology, and another that claims it's powered by AI. I asked whether a human should be the one doing the teaching.
Inside
The world of Waldorf. Chalkboards, chores, and childhood in the triangle. An education 7th grade teacher, Amanda Evans, describes as rich.
We embrace kind of a slow aesthetic. Wow, that's very middle school sounding of me.
At the Waldorf school, there's no technology until 8th grade.
The whole idea of being able to separate an artificial relationship and a real relationship, I think middle school is when you learn what real relationships are, and that's what we want them to be learning in our classroom spaces.
That means zero AI, and it's one reason the Prieto family has their 3 kids here.
What we need is we need children who have some kind of depth of understanding around the complexity of morality around the decisions they're going to be making someday.
But no tech, a no-go at Alpha School.
We've created 2-Hour Learning, a revolutionary new product transforming the private school experience.
The AI-powered school in this commercial is growing. With locations in New York and California, Alpha School is adding Raleigh to their list this fall, serving students up to 8th grade. Alpha's Dean of Parents, Stephanie Dean, says the new school strays from the standard.
I'm excited about it in the sense that I see a possibility here for students to experience academics in a way where they feel empowered to accelerate.
The Alpha School didn't allow our cameras inside the school. They provided video and explained they begin their day with 2 hours of online AI-driven learning. The rest of the day is dedicated to experiences outside the classroom.
Alpha is building a limitless environment to unlock.
Each child has a personalized lesson plan created by AI to work at the student's pace. They use eye tracking technology to make sure students stay focused on the screen.
The academics team would have a lot of good data to be able to meet the student where they are and suggest things to them. Oh, it looks like you weren't reading the instructions, or it looks like you were focusing on this part of the lesson, and try to redirect them.
That's done by what they call guides, adults who don't provide instruction but focus on making sure the student stays on task.
There really should be a human involved in the delivery of AI at all times.
Dr. Jeff Green is a leader at the UNC School of Education.
Come on in. The research would say the relationship between a student and a teacher or some kind of adult in the educational environment is critical. And the quality of that relationship and the ways in which the student feels connected, that they feel seen, they feel valued, those things are really important for a lot of students.
Meta Prieto believes AI has no place in early education.
AI's job is just to get you to the end as quick as possible. I don't think there is sort of a healthy overlay of what that looks like.
Currently, I don't see risks with the Alpha School model. I see a group of people, the people that I'm working with are 100% committed to having kids love school and learn twice as much in 2 hours and learn the life skills.
Skills and learning through 2 very different approaches in classrooms where AI, or the lack of it, shapes how the next generation prepares for the future. Humans created AI. Now AI is changing how humanity functions, how we work, how we make friends, how we learn. Only time will tell what the future of AI holds, but we hope that we have truly given you a better understanding of how the two are face to interface. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of Carolina Week.